Going on with the Patriots. Good morning.
Good morning. I guess it just rolled afternoon, 12:15 our time.
Yes.
How's everybody doing out there? Howdy, Patriots. Had a little bit of technical difficulty there for a second.
Yeah. We're still not getting the live stream to come up. I thought it was down, but we tried it and it's going, but I can't get into the background of it, folks. It's giving me the
old kibosh.
Yeah. Monkeys are on it. A little monkey trouble. Alabama hanging in. Hello, all.
Hey, sorry to hear about the weather down there. Was it Alabama 23 dead with that tornado popped up?
Yeah, was that Alabama, Arkansas?
I got an app game I play with, and a couple of people that I'm on there with were from there, and they actually showed me on Line app, which is a pretty cool app, some pictures. Man, the tornado was like half a mile away from half-mile wide damage. Just It was only on the ground for 20-some minutes, but like 23 people dead or something like that. Confirmed so far. It just jumped on them real quick. So real sorry to hear about the Alabama and Georgia. That's what I was thinking. I think most of the deaths that I was hearing about happened in Alabama. It just jumped on them too quick. They weren't even ready. So that our hearts go out to you. 23 dead in southeast Alabama. Real sorry to hear that. God bless you guys and hang in there. I think Trump just said to Homeland Security, FEMA, you give them people A+ treatment. So hopefully you're going to get it quickly. Anyway, thoughts and prayers out to you victims down there with that severe weather. Always sucks to see lives being lost. 23, that seems to be a lot for a tornado.
Yeah, I think even Trump was tweeting last night about it to be safe down there. And
like I said, all I was getting from reports, and I was trying to scan it because it just seemed like that number was quite a bit for just a tornado. But I know people have more than that have died in other natural disasters, but it just must have jumped on them too quick for them to even be prepared.
So you're right, it was a Lee County grim search effort underway with tornado death likely, so at least 23 were killed.
Jim DeVore, what am I doing here and why am I in this basket? Q sent me. Yeah.
Huh.
Well, we do it. Mikey does a lot of QAnons, and he's probably one of the two that I actually listen to. We'll try to update any Qs that are coming in. Mike just did a show, so I'm sure they went over any of the new ones.
Yeah, I did one early this morning. I don't think there's anything new. I'll jump over here. 2954. Nothing new.
Nothing new.
Wait. Yeah, nothing new. So 23 people killed in Lee County. Deadliest tornado since the one that hit Oklahoma in 2013.
Yeah. First time, Thomas Roger, first time live, can't get notifications, don't know why. Ring the bell and subscribe. See the little icons down there that says subscribe, ring the bell. You then will get, on your YouTube app, you'll get notifications that we're going live or there is something new going on. The whole point of the subscription button and the bell, anything that we do new, you hear about it first. God bless everyone from Tennessee. Hillary down there celebrating Sunday, Bloody Sunday. All right. Speaking of...
She won't go away.
Hillary, no, she won't go away. Mike just showed me some interesting clips about her being an idiot. And she basically saying she doesn't like to paint a broad brush of people based on their color or sex or... ethnicity, and then she turns around and says, well, you know, they all look alike. And so that was kind of funny. I do have some one of my notes I wrote down and just started jotting some things down this morning that's annoying me. Usually we do a segment on Fridays when I am here about what grinds my gears or something like that, but it's Monday morning, or afternoon. So I was asking Mike before we got on, the HRC, the collusion, the dirt on, Trump, the Russians. I was asking Mike, and maybe he'll answer again, and you guys chime in. So let's play the what-if game. So they've exhausted all this collusion garbage, right? And the whole point is Trump supposedly got information or dirt on Hillary that the Russians were trying to provide. And they asked the son-in-law, Kushner, if he wanted this information. So even if, let's say that's the collusion, how amazed were you? I just kind of opened my brain to it. They're more upset that Trump maybe accepted the information they had than actually being upset about what's this dirt on Hillary that you have in the first place. So,
was it Kushner or Junior?
Junior.
Okay,
it was
so
Junior.
Trump Junior. He this is a funnier thing that they were talking about, that the phone call that was made right after that meeting, and they're like, he called his dad, and Trump knew about it. Well, that just got released like a week ago finally, and they played along with it, and the media ran with it. Adam Schiff ran with it, and we're going to find out this. Well, then it came out that Trump called like a buddy, or Junior called just a couple of friends of his.
Yeah.
He knew that the whole time, but,
right.
Let them go on for a year with this talking point. So you're right. It's like the meat of that.
Scott, can I call in? Fluid Pour Art by Greg wants to call in. Can we do that?
I could probably do that.
See if we can. We'll have Mike work on that for a minute. So I was going to just kind of finish up like Mike's trying to figure that out. We'll be right with you. Hopefully we can get you on. So I just found it really amazing that it just kind of like finally opened my eyes a little bit. I don't know why I didn't think about this forever now, but the Democratic Party and all these congressmen and all these committees haven't asked once, what's the dirt that Russia had on Hillary? It's like they almost don't care. They just want to see if maybe he was colluding. Well, what's colluding? I don't understand. I can call you and say, hey, man, I got some gossip on somebody. That isn't really breaking the law. I know they try to say that if it helped or hindered the election, maybe it could have. But why isn't anybody asking that question? What's the dirt that they were wanting to give or they supposedly gave to you? Because if Trump didn't take the dirt or take the... I think it was a setup because obviously, like you said, that she was caught meeting with the DNC, and then she went to the tower, and then she went back to the DNC almost to like be debriefed. And how the hell was she let in the country to begin with when Uber Aberdeen pushed the buttons or whatever to allow her to? Because she's a Russian lawyer, right?
The Russian lawyer was coming in. No, it was somebody at the DOJ. It had been like Loretta Lynch at the time, or
Red Flag.
Somebody,
yeah,
somebody let her in.
So my whole point is there's no proof of collusion, obviously. They're starting to backtrack away from that. Now they're going to investigate any and every deal that he's ever made prior to being president, whatever, which is just exhausting. I think the American people are really getting fed up with it. And I know this because I see the approval ratings still going up. This is even after all this investigation garbage, the Comey stuff, the Cohen stuff. They tried to say the failure of the North Korean summit, but automatically now, or real quickly now, the North Korean leader is saying he's interested in another summit. And before they were worried, 2 years ago, he's going to start World War III and nuclear bombs, blah, blah, blah. So all he's doing is getting this guy to come back to the table. These are all good things that are going on. And instead of actually complimenting the president for doing presidential things, they're worried about, oh man, this didn't stick. We all know it's not sticking.
Oh yeah.
Why
and
don't
how
we,
to keep it going? Right?
Why aren't we investigating the people that actually committed crimes, or maybe committed crimes? You know?
Yeah, if meeting with the Russians at a hotel to possibly get dirt, because that's the way it was presented, is against the rules, is colluding with Russia to get a fake dossier, a book
Correct.
written and then paid for and then hand delivered to the FBI to start this huge investigation. Is that not illegal?
And rigging your primaries to beat Bernie.
Yeah.
And which the
getting
chair,
questions ahead of the game.
Right.
I mean, or any of that. Is any of
but
that?
that's not important. We need to get Trump out of office. So they've wasted 2 years, and now you see 20 or 22. I think it's up to 23 now. Democrats lining up to run against Trump. It's like, so they've exhausted all these investigations. They've wasted 2 years, if not more, and then they're going to keep wasting money of the taxpayer, their time. They could be concentrating on doing something good, and you can tell it's all crap. Because now you got 22 or 23 candidates. They're not even all on the same page anymore. And then you got Ortiz that's threatening anybody that goes against us and don't vote our way. We're going to put you on a hit list. I mean, what kind of Democratic Party is this? I've said it a lot the last couple of shows I've been on. It's not the party from the 50s, 60s, 70s anymore. This is this new radical. If you're going to beat Trump, if you want to beat Trump, the first thing you got to do is quit looking like a-holes on TV all the time. Quit investigating them because the people are exhausted with it, or actually just give your proof, which you don't have any, or move on and unite around your own party. You know, I loved what Trump said at the the big Republican rally this past weekend. He spoke for like 2 hours, but he says this new Green Deal. He just started joking, and everybody thought it was funny. He says, I hope that is their platform. I hope that they all campaign on that new Green Deal. He says, I want them to do it. I want them to go ahead. It'll be so easy just to beat them up.
3177. The RNC came out.
It was the CPAC. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, CPAC. RNC came out, the head of, and said not for anyone not to run on the Republican. It'd be a waste of their time, waste of their money.
The governor from Ohio was considering, and there's like 2 people that are considering. But why would you do that? Run this train. Right now, if you try to campaign and you try to make a primary against Donald Trump, you got 2 problems there.
We're going to get everyone back to unemployment.
Right.
I mean, what are you running on,
As a Republican, sit down.
I'm going to do a lot of the same what Trump's doing.
I just want my name attached to
yeah.
it. Right. So sit down, ride this train,
wow. Get
ready for 2024. Stay as a united party, because it's so easy to beat the DNC up right now because they are so divided. I mean, instead of the Tea Party, everybody was worried about this Tea Party movement a couple of years back, and it's going to be the third party. Now it's spun around. Get the Republican conservatives together, like we're starting to see, and watch the Democratic Party split off and be a socialist party and a Democrat. As long as we stay united and we stay after our congressmen, our senators, congressmen and women. Sorry. Keep adding the pressure. Support your president. Support what's going on. You don't have to agree with how he runs or how he acts and what he says all the time. Look at how he's running the country is more important than his personal affairs prior to being president. We got him right where we want him. They know it. They're so confused.
Well, and, they just don't. I mean, I heard some people on the left say this is welcome to what we had to endure during Obama. A bunch of people were investigated, the whole time, like Hillary and all these talks the whole time kind of tainted. Well, there was real stuff possibly happening there. What we do know is nothing ever came of any of it.
Those investigations were short and sweet and had the right people in play to make sure they stayed short and sweet.
Yeah.
It didn't last for a year or 2 because if they did, they would have uncovered so much. I mean, remember,
One of the biggest.
She wiped her stuff. It just.
We got
proof. There's proof, and okay. So if I'm Donald Trump and I'm Lindsey Graham, and I looked at the Kavanaugh one again the other night, and I retweeted it and posted it when he went completely off on the Democrats in there saying, I'm ashamed. You guys used to be my friends. You're destroying this man. You know where the real collusion and the real trouble's at, and you won't do a darn thing about that, but you're going to destroy this good man and his credibility. He said, this is the worst thing I've seen. I love that rant. That video was great. And my comment when I reposted it was Graham 2024. Because I could go for him. I could go for the vice president. Hell, you don't know. We could be seeing Trump Jr. Well, he's not old enough yet, I don't think. Maybe he could be by then. But I just love that a couple of these Republicans are pushing back now and starting to, swing back, and they need to. You got these people on the ropes. Again, you got 22 or 23 people trying to run for the Democratic primary. Are they stupid? They're so divided, they think that's a good idea? No, I don't know. And they're going to beat the hell out of each other. And as soon as one of them gets nominated, they're all going to say, well, they won fair and square. We love this candidate. But they're gonna not say that. I always find politics interesting during the primaries. And they beat each other up.
Look.
Uh-oh.
Greg. Oh, there it is, brother, right there. Keep it sideways.
There you go.
You can go sideways.
All right, there you are. Don't move.
Yeah, I'm going to move my breakfast.
All right.
Breakfast, it's 12:30, bro.
Well, some of us got to sleep in today, so I enjoyed it.
Right on.
Oh, let me turn this
We
down.
get some of his volume up.
Yeah, about an hour. Are you losing me?
Well, see if you can, I don't know. See if you can speak a little louder, Mike. You can try to turn it up a little bit. What's on your mind, brother?
Hold on here.
All right.
It won't unhook.
We'll give you some time here, brother. Get adjusted. Position audio.
I do love the call-ins. Art Taylor, press 5.
We got a great image of him froze up. Look.
That's a good mug. Good-looking mug. Wherever he's at, it's bright and sunny.
Yeah. Go towards the light, brother.
Come towards the light.
From dark to light.
The nighttime is the right time.
All right, we'll see if he joins back in here. We'll give him a minute.
Is he trying to reconnect? Is that what's going on?
Maybe.
Oh,
I mean.
All right.
Oh, you know what? Maybe I should turn that down for him. Ooh, I'm on a high signal. I'll do this for him. I just took it down to mobile.
Mobile.
So maybe it'll come back in. If not, jump out and reconnect back in, Greg, and it should work a little better. I had you on a really high setting there.
While we're waiting, does anybody else find it entertaining that rich millionaire Democrats are enjoying the hell out of this great economy, but turning around complaining for equality for all and bashing Trump? They're making money hand over fist.
Yeah.
They're trying to get their constituents. I love what Bernie's out there saying, in his rally, Trump's a sexist, a homophobic. Are you still using the same line they were using 2 and 3 years ago before? It's exhausting. You know everything you just said's a lie. He's dated, he's worked with, he's been around these same types of people you're stereotyping. Almost like Hillary. I don't mean to paint a broad brush of people and then just go. He is feeding on young people's hatred. You know what I mean? Trump's a homophobic. Whoa, yes he is. Well, how do you know? Can you actually quit saying this garbage and show me proof of him hating homosexuals or heterosexuals or blacks or greens or purples? At some point, can we as a society ask for proof before we just throw this at the 18 to 25-year-old kids that are subject to your socialism? They're going to believe anything you say because they want free stuff. So stop right there and just say that. Vote for me, I'll get you free stuff. But because you can do that if you get elected. You could try to get him free stuff. But to continue this rhetoric of him being this evil, demonstrative person, and we've caught Hillary time after time after time being racist, hugging and kissing a KKK grand wizard, painting a broad stripe of colored people. They all look the same. She said these types of things. As a society, why can't we ask for proof instead of just cheering on Bernie? He's a socialist. He's supposed to care and love all people, and he's sitting there and just like the rest of them, judging and judging and judging. What makes him any different?
Yeah, no, it is hypocrisy, folks, at the
highest levels. And it's just like the Bill Maher and the propaganda machine with the Oscars, the Emmys. They're using every platform they can to bash conservative, good, hardworking Americans. Maher went on that spiel the other day. If you live in the red states, you're not as cool as us. You need to come into our world and blah, blah, blah. Bill, nobody cares. Your listeners might care, but the majority of us really don't care. We don't even tune in. The only reason I heard about it is because I picked up on it on a morning talk show and listened to your rant. you basically just bashed me and everybody that I live around and, work with and my community. We're bad people because we're not blue.
Oh, yeah.
We don't come hang out with you at your high resorts and your restaurants in L.A. and the trendy places. I can't believe anybody watches him anymore, except his own local listeners. Ain't nobody. There's no way anybody from a red state can actually appeal to him anymore after what he said the other day. But don't take my word for it. Go watch his last couple of shows, and you'll probably be disgusted.
Oh, we got him back. Hold on.
Good.
Can you hear me?
We got you now, brother. I turned down the signal a lot, so there you go. You sound a lot better too.
Oh, good. Yeah, well, I just, like I said, I got up an hour ago. I was being lazy today. But I just got done watching this video by Patriot Nurse. I don't know if you've heard of her.
Yes, I have.
Okay, well, she's got a good video out there on what's going on with this new House bill that they just passed to try to disarm the American citizens.
Oh, wow.
Disarm the American citizens? Is that what you just said?
Yes, that's what I said, brother.
No way.
Now, you're up in New York, right?
Yeah, well...
You guys just got that bill passed. That bill passed by Cuomo.
Yep, this is a federal law, though.
A federal,
this was just passed by the House of Representatives. Yep. So I don't know if people are paying attention, but they should go and take a look at this Patriot Nurse video and listen to what she has to say, because what she has to say is amazing. And it's about self-sufficiency and starving this government of the things that they run on. They only run on two things: taxes and electric. And if they don't have those, they don't have nothing.
Correct.
Talking about like growing your own food and starving the government. I don't think we pay taxes on food anyway, but I just there's a lot going on. This New York thing still, man. I'm fighting with it inside, dude. She's talking about like how civil war is coming and people are talking about it left and right, and it's like commonplace conversation, and it's like there's no feeling, there's no emotion. It's coming. Yeah. Well, what about this? These are our American brothers and sisters that are going to bleed on the streets and the lawns and the farms and everything else. This is not just going to be some go in, kick their ass, and come out. These are our brothers and sisters, people.
Mm-hmm. It's like it's like the Patriot, or the Mel Gibson, the Patriot.
Yeah.
When he said, this is going to be a war that you've never seen before. This isn't going to happen in a distant land. This is going to happen on your front lawn. This is going to happen to your relatives. This is going to be in your streets. If they're crazy enough to do this, it's going to be right in your face, and you better be prepared for it.
That's what she's saying, guys. So what I'm telling you is, get that information out. I know that this is helping to do so. I've been doing videos on the Masara Acts and all that stuff here the last few days on my channel, and I went up like almost 60 subscribers in 3 days.
Oh, nice.
So there's a lot of stuff going on that people aren't privy to that information, and the only way it's going to get out is us, the the digital soldiers.
Yes.
It's the smoke and mirrors. See, they got us talking about all of the election stuff, the collusion stuff. It's the smoke and mirrors why they got the attention of the American people. We're not paying attention to what the laws and rights they're trying to take away from us, just like the Patriot Act and some of these things.
Exactly what I'm saying. And we have to be attentive to this stuff. We can't just fall for the false flags on the left. We got to look at what's going on the right, the left, the center.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's so much crap. This law with this abortion crap after birth, that's freaking murder. Bottom line, murder.
Right.
Yes.
Roger that.
You come read the preamble. The preamble of the Constitution states that we're supposed to secure these liberties for our posterity. What are we doing? We are killing the posterity. We are going against the Constitution in the open and freaking statement.
Yep.
And it's pissing me off. These are Americans. These are future presidents, doctors, lawyers. These people had a future, but these satanistic sons of bitches think that they can just go and cut the brainstem of these kids. It's killing me, man.
Oh yeah.
Well, I still can't understand what and I'll keep this short because we got you on here, so I want you to keep talking. But I'm with you. I can't understand how anybody can go along with the fact once a child is birthed out of the mother's vagina, out, right? Mother no longer has rights to take that life. That is called murder. If she wants to abort it, she needs to abort it long before it leaves her body, because once that child is breathing on its own and separate from its mother, it is murder in the first degree. And the doctor should be convicted of it as well.
Well, yeah, they take the Hippocratic Oath.
Yeah, one of the things that kills me is this, and this I learned this from Patriot Nurse this morning, and it's really, really burning inside. We can take and botch an abortion, right? And leave that baby there to just die, and don't give it any medical assistance to help it survive. But if a illegal comes across the border and goes to a hospital with the inability to pay and non-citizenship, they get primo care. What about us? We are here first. America first.
Yep.
What is wrong with that?
That's the big hypocrisy right now.
That's a sovereignty way of thinking, and the other way that people are latching onto now without knowing it is the New World Order way, where it's, that's...
How do we spend tax dollars and our attributes, our stuff? How can we do that and help illegals, somebody breaking the federal law?
When is it considered an invasion? Real quick, I'll ask you guys both this. For all these years, Fluid, you're a veteran as well. We have no issues. No Americans really had an issue. We've sent troops all around this world to fight for other countries' civil wars, to help get their sovereignty or build fences. We've probably built 6 or 7 countries' fences with U.S. tax dollar, and we've sent troops all around the world to defend it and to help. The first time we tried to put our own troops on our own border and to take some of our own tax dollars and build up our own fences, again, boom, we're racist, we're everything in the book. So
what's your thought on that, Greg? Because my thought is, I don't have a thought. I have a question. Why are you so afraid to protect your own country?
And people say it's not an invasion. If we have 20 million here, is that not an invasion?
Yeah, it goes all the way back to the New Deal, guys. It goes back to before that, even 1871. But it's about how FDR and the New World Order created the New Deal, faked the bankruptcy of America, and now your Social Security number makes you the collateral behind the dollar. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Follow the money. It's all about the fiat dollar, the petrodollar. We have become the slaves of the world, and we're doing everything. Our taxpayer dollars are paying for all this shit in other countries. Why? Why?
I'm with you. I don't understand. The one problem with socialism is if eventually, because of the way socialism works, eventually you and I are going to care. If there's 10 of us, eventually we'll get to the point where 9 people don't give a crap anymore because we're tired of all of our money being wasted, and now you're left to one guy working and everybody else dependent on the state, and a la you have Venezuela and you collapse. So there's no good reasoning or point for any of this other than a few will be left at the top to control everybody.
Yeah. Well, here's a thought, too. You brought up Venezuela. Okay, this Nasara Act. I don't want to get into the depths of it. People do your research. The one thing is Venezuela is the last stand. We're fighting with Venezuela right now because Maduro isn't wanting to do this gold-backed currency or whatever. I think that has something to do with it. I think that Venezuela is the last stand before the Nasara and Gesara laws are put into play in the world, where everybody is paid back. And I know it sounds weird, man, but from what I've understood,
I've been following it, the gears. You know that. I know about that a little bit.
$100,000 a month for 11 years per citizen over age 21 is going to be repaid. All student debt is going to be zeroed, nullified. All home mortgages, all car payments, everything you have is going to be paid. I don't know if this is freaking legit. I'm just saying, like, I've done my research. I have to. I'm a doubting Thomas. Bro.
I'm gonna add this.
Wow.
If we, Greg, maybe that's part of the reason we need to get our border up secure, because we already have a lot of people flooding in here wanting to be here. We get why. Some of the ones that are just, if it isn't drug trafficking or the human trafficking, and it's really just about the hungry person, that's my least concern. I want them to do it the right way, but it's really my least concern. I'm more worried about the terrorists or the gangbangers or the drugs or the human trafficking. I am compassionate enough to understand, but I want it to be done the right way. But if we do go to this new reset, Trump gets it back to what it was supposed to be, where we're supposed to be kings of this land, and kings don't pay taxes. The government should operate off the tariffs, which Trump has now implemented again.
That's right.
And people can say that's a really small amount of money. Well, it needs to get bigger, and it can get bigger. And I'm just not. It's not our fault that you guys are operating off of 400 trillion a year now. It's not our issue. All right. You need to back it off a little bit. So if we do get to that, I think more people want to flood here because
Right.
So we need the sovereignty. I mean, that's Trump's half of thinking. We got to get this wall built because we're going to have people trying to.
Did you watch, Greg? Did you? I'm gonna about 30 seconds, and you can take over. The CPAC, when he said, he's trying to let the American. He's doing a great job of letting those that aren't following along and paying attention. But he says, let me put it to you like this: India said, any motorcycle you ship into India is 100% tariff, 100%. And he said, and he's pointing to the crowd, even a few in here, maybe senators, but in D.C. for years they haven't figured out that we don't charge you anything to bring your stuff into this country. And now all of a sudden he's like, that doesn't make any sense. And for us, we know that makes sense. But now people are starting to learn that we are being screwed by other countries. He's changed it around now where we actually have a surplus, a federal surplus because of tariffs. And that goes along with what you're trying to say. But it was just amazing that what you're talking about right now, he just kind of hinted at it during the CPAC. Open your eyes, people. We're being ripped off.
Yeah, watch it. Hey, y'all need to listen to Roseanne Barr, too, man. I'm telling you, she's putting it out, boy.
Yes, she is.
Roseanne Barr, I'm giving you a thumbs up, girl.
Roger
I didn't
that.
like you when you were on the Connors, but I like you now. But anyway,
They discredited her, though.
Yeah, they did. But see, we were misled, man. We didn't know the real Roseanne. We saw what Hollywood made her be.
Yeah. Like a Tim Allen. Love me a Tim Allen.
To get back to the CPAC thing, tariffs are going to increase because production in America is going to increase. The money is going to increase.
That's
the taxes, the tariffs are going to cover everything. We shouldn't be paying the federal government.
Right.
State government. That's where the power is. And I hate this fucking state. Excuse my language, but New York can kiss my ass.
Oh, man. When you leaving?
Them, baby.
When you leaving? When you leaving New York?
Oh, man, I just got this property signed over to me. I've been wondering the other day, man. I can't.
Are you up north?
Yet.
Are you up north?
I'm south of Buffalo.
Okay.
But you're paying a lot of tax. A lot of your tax dollars go to that big city to the southeast, doesn't it?
Oh, my God. Every
cancerous.
Dude, we can't get this highway out here, Route 219. It's freaking so damn bumpy and torn up from the 18-wheelers that it'll rip tires off cars.
Yeah.
We can't get that freaking thing fixed because New York City's got a big issue to get here.
Yeah. New York City. I spent a lot of time in New York, man, and I'm telling you, New York City should annex itself and become its own state, and the rest of you people in New York, because I love that state. Most of New York is country and farm ground and hardworking people. Let New York City become its own state.
I've been to Binghamton several times.
Yeah, check this out. I'll give you a shot of the hills across the street. Man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
It's gorgeous.
Some good snow
Allegheny
skiing.
Mountains, baby.
Snow skiing.
Allegheny Mountains.
Hey,
Valley.
I'm going to be putting this, I'm recording this now, so it'll be on the Patriot Hour later tonight as a premiere. I'll probably do a 6 o'clock premiere. Go ahead and give your channel out, and I'll put it in the description box too, just to help give you a boost. And is it Fluid Pour Art by Greg?
Yes, it is. It's Fluid Pour Art by Greg. And if I could, Mike, I'd like to shout out to Patriot Nurse and what's the other guy? Prepper Nurse 1.
Okay.
Prepper Nurse 1 is in New York. The other guy, or the other lady, Patriot Nurse, I don't know where she's at, but I'm telling you, those guys are putting out some good info, man.
Let me make sure I'm right on this. I think I caught her, like she does sometimes walks in her woods and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, and I seen her do a show with another guy that has a pretty big following where he's really constitutionalist. He's up in the woods or the mountains a lot. And I've actually reached out to him. I was like, dude, you're like, I normally don't comment, but I watched this video one night and he was talking. He was on the side of his mountain and blah, 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 blah. And he was just But I seen them collab, and I was like, wow.
They seem like the type of people that are worthless, and like Bill Maher was talking, we're worthless people because we're not blue, and we don't partake in the Oscars and Emmys and his show. I mean, come on, this is America, right behind Greg, right there. That's America, baby.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Go ahead and give a big shout out again, though, to what you wanted to say. And then,
shout out to you guys, the Patriot Hour. First off, Lewis for my channel. Check it out, guys. I don't have very many videos, but I'm getting there.
You got to start somewhere.
Get embarrassed on the screen, man. So I just, I see the division. I see the division, the divisiveness that's been used by both the left and the right. I think the left and the right are both going to collapse, and you're going to see a unified party. Whether it's 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. Why do we have to do bicameral, man? Come on. We don't need bipartisan shit anymore.
Yeah.
We need Americanism, nationalism. We need sovereignty. We need
right versus wrong. That's his bottom line.
Exactly, man.
How about the Constitutionalist Party? The Constitutionalist Party. That's the party that I give a shit about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I participate with a couple of guys down here in the Tea Party. I know they get a lot of flack, but I don't say that I'm Tea Party. I am constitutionalist.
Yep, I'm a constitutionalist. That's all you can.
I just had to cut off one of my buddies because he's pro abortion at any cost. He's pro anti-gun, and I'm like, you know what? You and I got nothing left to talk about, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. Good for you, because when you agree with murder,
yeah, can't be complicit with that.
I got zero in common with anybody that supports the death of children. Zero.
Scott, you're gonna love Patriot Nurse, man. You're gonna
I wrote it down. I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna do some digging, and I'm gonna look into this law that you're speaking of, and I hope to God that it's not gonna. I hope it's not gaining ground.
Well, I'm telling you, gaining ground. I don't want civil war to gain ground.
Right.
But the divisiveness has been created by the liberals and the left, and they're pushing that violent oppression or getting in your face and heckling and all that. That's got to stop.
Yeah, it's not the liberals from the 60s and 70s, is it?
It's free country, man.
Yeah.
We have a right to believe in what we believe. And if you don't like it, you know how the fuck you came in, get right back out the same way.
All right, brother.
That's just me.
All right, brother.
As a citizen. Oh, one other thing that she said, and then I'll let you go.
You're fine.
Is the voting. Okay, you got all these illegals that vote. So if it's not a citizen that voted, that's an illegitimate election, and one needs to be reheld, right?
Yep.
Correct.
Common sense.
Yeah.
Common sense. It's an illegitimate election if it's illegal. So we have to have voter IDs. We have to.
Hey man, you have to have a license to fish in this country, but you're telling me I can go to jail if a DNR officer catches me fishing as a citizen without a license? I can go to jail, but if you cross that border illegally and walk into a ballot box and cast a vote, there's no crime there, but I'm going to go to jail for fishing?
Listen to what you just said, dude. That is the modern day slavery that our government and the Saudi Arabian government that controls our government has made us the people into. We have to do what they say, not what they do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the bottom line. It's socialism. It's control. It's communist. California.
Californiation, yeah. Holy smokes.
Yeah, it's getting bad, bro. It's getting bad. You guys, I love y'all to death. I just wish we were closer, man, because I'd love to be in studio with you guys.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
Well, I do a lot of traveling for my other business, and I'm up around your way every now and again. I bet I hit northern New York twice a year, so when that next trip happens, I'll definitely
at least maybe meet up. Yeah.
Well, Mike has got about 500 emails from me with my phone number that he refuses to use. So go ahead and pass that off to Scott, okay, Mike? I
will. No, we're going to be working on getting a real phone so we can actually do better call-ins, because I know a lot of people would call in more than, because this is a little tough. I'm glad you're able to do it. The beaming in, L's done it, Amy the mod's done it. We've had success, but it doesn't always work out.
We do need a hardline system.
Yeah.
That's what it is, man. You got to get your people to hit that thumbs up so monetization is notified.
Roger,
That's right.
Roger that.
All right, brother. We'll see you again soon,
right,
I'm sure. Keep doing the
God
channel,
bless you
man.
guys.
Keep getting the truth out there. We appreciate it.
Wow. So that's Mike's gonna have to pull back up our chat. I got it blown away. I was trying to Google the Patriot nurse and prepper nurse. Thoughts on any of that? I know it was hard to hear, probably, but any of you guys got anything to say about this law that he says? I'm gonna have to do some dig into it, but
I was wanting to say, shoot, right here. Where is it? Come up. I had there it is. So the Wisconsin governor to give illegals driver's licenses is now paving the road for voter fraud. Because that's all you need to vote.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's crap. That's garbage. If you're
It's right here. Look on yours. Right here at this screen.
Wisconsin governor to give illegal driver's licenses pays the road. Oh my goodness! Now that guy needs to be voted out. I'm speaking to anybody in Wisconsin. If you're listening and you're on this channel right now, look into this. Mikey, pop that up there. Are people seeing that one there? Or are they? What are they seeing
How
here?
do I do it?
So this guy, I'll read it first. Wisconsin Democrat Governor Tony Evers wants illegal immigrants to be able to receive driver's licenses, which will pave the way for massive voting fraud in the battleground state. I guarantee you, when he says he's trying to get them driver's licenses, it has nothing to do with he's gonna deflect. He just wants to make sure when a cop pulls him over, well, then give them a state ID, because there is a difference. If you want to know who's in your state, or if you want to try to control who's illegal and who's not, you cannot give an individual a driver's license that is not an American citizen. You know, when I just renewed mine, it was an act of Congress. I had to show my birth certificate. I had to show my Social Security card.
Oh, how hard? Yeah.
But you can't just issue a driver's license, because Mike's absolutely right, because then you just get to walk into a polling booth, and you know what? You just crapped all over my sovereign right. My right to vote, because I am a citizen. And I know some people will argue, well, you only have that right because you were born here. Well, yeah, I'm sorry. My bad. But if you want to come here, go about it the right way, and I'm all for that. I would want to be here.
Yeah, and see, they're pitching it, and this is just like I heard already years ago. This makes our roads and communities safer, because they're saying that these people can't get insurance, they can't get cars, but yet they're driving anyway. So now they're just breaking the law.
That's not my problem. I have no sympathy for somebody that wants to break the law. I don't.
That's like people just killing people, and then the town saying, well, we got so many people getting killed, people are just going to make it legal.
Right. Well, and there's a bunch of liberals in L.A. and New York and Chicago that don't even have vehicles, right? So they don't even need a driver's license. Why aren't they offended? They should be offended, because if your comment is, well, if they don't have a driver's license, they can't drive and they can't get to work. Well, who told you to go to Wisconsin, not in the middle of anywhere?
So how about this? If they're going to give these undocumented folks licenses, maybe it should be one that says undocumented license.
Correct.
Or something to notate, right. So when they go to vote, it's like, oh, wait,
that's
no.
right. They have
no, we're not going to do that.
When they scan your license now at the ballot box, at the polling station, I keep saying at the ballot box, at the polling stations, maybe that's okay. And I'm saying it's okay to label
if that's
them
what it's for.
illegal.
If that's what it's for, to keep so they can drive, I guess and they can get insurance and have a car, and you're going to help them every step of the way to be here illegally. Can you make sure that that's not exactly like everyone else's? So the confusion for the ballot box.
Well, check this
out.
Well, check this out. If you're illegal, right? I don't care what part of the world, so I'm not painting a broad brush like Hillary does. But if you're illegal, I don't care if they give you 10 driver's licenses. And I don't care that State Farm does, or whatever insurance company gives you insurance. If you total that car and hurt some people or kill some people, maybe even yourself, you're illegal. So there's got to be something that a good lawyer, a defense lawyer, be like, well, you really can't sue my client because he's not a United States citizen, so sorry. So what's the real point here? The real point is so they're allowed to walk into a polling station and vote for a liberal or a Democrat. That's the whole goal here. It has nothing to do with driver's license or safety on the roads. That is all BS. It's all propaganda. And if you fall for it in Wisconsin, you're an idiot.
What's that even mean, safety, anyway? Just by having a license, all of a sudden, well, now they're insured and all the, because the accidents happen, I get it, but I mean,
I know a lot of people that have been convicted of DUIs, and just because they get a license back doesn't automatically mean that they're going to make the right choice this time.
Yeah.
It just means that the state was willing to give them a license. That's all that means. It doesn't automatically make you a safe person.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
I don't understand the logic, and they can, but I know what it is about. They can try to sit there and tell me it's safety and it's insurance, and so the cops can ID you. Well, give that. There's 2 different forms of IDs you can get in a state, and it's called, or 3 actually. You can get a passport, you can get
State
a driver's
ID.
license, or you can get a state ID. Why do you have to give them a driver's license? Because if all it is to make sure that people are identified, then give them an ID card that says illegal immigrant. Otherwise, you're just up to no good, and you got some politics going on here that you really don't want the people to know what your real agenda is. I'm not stupid to it. You're not stupid to it.
Yeah.
You just want them to be able to vote, because that's all you need is a valid ID. Oh, my God. It's voter fraud. Absolutely right. And call it for what it is, and demand your legislators and your senator, just demand your politicians in your area do something about this. Don't stay silent about it. Get angry about it and say, hey, listen, as Americans, when's the last time one of you guys renewed your driver's license? It was an act of Congress, and I bet you went back once or twice, and you were upset.
So, now you want to check this out? If successful, Wisconsin would join 12 states that are already doing this, and District of Columbia.
Which states are they? Is there a map?
Yep. Q gave us a map, and it all lines up. This is a while ago. States. Remember?
Yeah. That's right.
That one that would it was already. So this was like weeks ago.
So along with that, they're still trying to push the electoral college, right? So if they can do away with that, they can win if they can convince the American people to let them change the law and say the popular vote's what matters, and now they just flood in all these illegals and give them an ID. Guess what's going to happen to us? The liberal agenda will take hold, and it may not affect maybe you or I, because it'll probably take a couple of decades, at least one generation, for it to really flip hard, but it's already starting that direction. So our kids and our grandkids are going to be there's going to be Venezuela, baby. That's what it's going to be. And at what point are we supposed to quit being shamed into letting people into this country? Oh, Scott, Mike, you guys need to let people come into this country. They want a better life. I do too. And if I lived in one of them areas, I would probably want to get out. Or maybe I would stay put like our ancestors did and win my democracy, or win my freedoms. There's 100,000 people protesting in Venezuela. If I could speak to them right now, I would say start walking to your capital and grab that guy like they did in Italy during World War II. And Mussolini ended up being hung from a lamppost, right? The people got tired of it. Yeah. And they'll appreciate their freedom a little bit more. I'm not saying violence, but at this point, if you're starving and you're hungry and your country's falling apart, quit asking what somebody else can do for you and stand up and do it yourself. It doesn't do us any good to keep taking you in here, because all you're doing is running from your troubles. That's one of our biggest problems in this country, is we want to just take people in. That's not helping their home country.
No, and we know they come here, fly their flags, they have a great love, and maybe that's okay. That's, to have that. But why didn't you fight for your country?
Oh, that absolutely drives me crazy when I see an Irish flag or any other country's flag, because you came from there or you have a proud. I get being full of pride, but that American flag stands on top first, and
well, yeah, that's
nothing else. And if you don't like that, then don't come here. Yeah, here you go. So the brown is states offering. You just scrolled away from it. States offering
driving privileges to unauthorized immigrants.
So, wow, blue state, blue state, blue state, blue state. Why isn't New York offering it yet? Why do they care? What's the point?
Now this is how it got voted. If you look at the voting compared to so that's where this other one will come in. Hold on here.
Ugh.
See how that works? Where the illegal immigrants have the IDs already, that's what's blue.
Uh-huh.
Even from the past election.
1 out of 4 Californians, current residences, I didn't say citizens, 1 out of 4 Californians were not born in the United States. I repeat that. And then you do your own conclusion here. 1 out of 4 Californians were not born in the United States of America. 25% of California citizens weren't born there.
Wow.
You can look it up. That's actual fact. And now you understand why a lot of that state is starting to turn. It's been going that direction for so long. People are either A, fleeing it, or B, you actually see a conservative movement in California, especially Northern California. People are starting to realize, oh my gosh, we've went along with this and went along with this. The smoke and mirrors, and now our country is being overran. And those with jobs, their taxes are going up. New York's raising their taxes again. Millionaires are leaving that state. The more you raise taxes, it's to take care of your socialist agenda. And before long, it's starting to lopside. Now the people are saying, well, wait a minute, we've given just about enough and nothing's getting any better for us. Well, guess what? That's what's going to happen to the country if we don't come together and just call it for what it is. It's complete socialism.
Yes, I agree. All right, so about an hour in almost. We're at 50 minutes if you want to chit-chat with the live people here for a few. Take some questions. You guys got any questions? Where should I move? Okay, I don't think we are getting any of the feed, but now we are. Harm a child, you must die. I have illegals next door to me in PA.
Oh, man. I don't want it to be a hate thing. I don't want...
Yeah, no.
It's got to stop. We have to stop it before... Well, Adam Schiff is a pedo. Yep. Duh. That's... Amen. There's Greg. Greg, I'm definitely going to look into this law. If any one of you guys have any numbers as far as what the proposal number is, any of the verbiage, that'll help me find it a little bit faster. I'll definitely watch her show and see if I can pick up on it. It's alarming.
It's not about hate, it's about rule of law. That's about right. Yes, it comes out sometimes hateful, or that's how people try to deem it, but...
Hey, listen, man, I don't care if you're legally here from Norway, I don't want you here. Or I'm not saying... too many times they want to paint us as being racist towards... Spanish people.
They ignore it when it's the legal immigrants here standing up,
right,
saying the same things we're saying.
Right.
They don't. They're like, just because they did it the right way.
With my primary company, and you know this, I've traveled this entire country. I've traveled other countries, and I actually sit and have luncheons and do business with big business guys that are from Spain, from Canada, from France, from Bogota, Colombia. The racist paintbrush they're painting us with is pathetic. At some point, quit worrying about being shamed and consider, I don't want to speak up, I don't want to be considered a racist. You're not a racist just because you want to protect your borders. Quit letting them make you think that you're an evil, nasty person because you're a nationalist. And I mean nationalist in the good sense. I don't mean nationalist.
Don't put anything in front of it. Not white nationalists, any of that. They like to paint that, like you're right, against anyone brown skin. The majority of the world is of a brown skin. We are not a majority white man, isn't. It's just here in the United States, yes, but folks, they've got it so twisted. So
conservatives are so clueless about demographics and its effect on the politics. Clueless. I'm not sure I understand what you mean by clueless. I completely understand where the demographics show that where the most illegals and the most people that are dependent on their socialist ideals are Chicago, are LA, are New York City. You look at the blue states, California, Illinois, New York. They are in debt up to their eyebrows. You look at our home state, we're in the black. Right?
Yeah.
I don't understand what you mean by the demographics.
Conservatives are so clueless about demographics and its effect on politics. Well, the liberal leftists are so clueless about displacing people from their demographics and putting them all around the country into different places on purpose, where they know that they're not going to get along and other people don't get along.
Tell me one good thing the Democratic Party has done for the people, the people in the last 50 years. One. Give me one good thing. They're all for killing babies. They're all for hoping you depend on them and their tax and their handouts, food stamps, all these freebies. Conservatism is for the people. Why? Because it allows you to be able to accomplish any goal that you wake up with and want. If you want to start a small business, you can do that. They don't want you to do that because then they're going, oh man, you don't depend on us anymore. Because the minute you quit depending on them and you actually open your eyes and put yourself, like Kennedy said, quit asking what the country to do. The reason I am so passionate anymore is because I am a small business owner and I didn't get there from getting it handed to me, and I'm not independently wealthy yet, I hope. But the reason I go conservative now more than I ever have is because I see it's a waste of my tax money is what upsets me more than anything. I don't care that you take my tax dollars. I mean, I do, but it's what you do with it. They're not fiscally responsible. They haven't proven they can spend it better than me, and I've gotten crap in return for it.
Well, it's all guisey because the way it's spun into society. Again, like you said, they operate on this trillions of dollars they take from us. And then when we look at them charts where it shows like education, it's like 1% of the overall amount. 1% goes to education, 1% goes to, and that's what we're in these little areas arguing like, my neighbor gets money for nothing, he needs to work, and I'm really mad at my neighbor here, but it's like the overall amount that they take and that little amount that's there, because they're giving more away to foreign countries.
I was just about to say I'm more upset that money.
But we don't argue. Me and you don't argue, or me and the neighbor.
I do.
Me and the neighbor don't argue about that. I'm maybe in the past I'd be arguing that he's getting money for doing nothing, and I'm really mad at him. And that works more than anything to keep us divided.
I'll blow your mind here too, and I'm going to be a little close, little off with my percentages. If somebody wants to prove me differently, you better be able to do it by 10%. But I'm going to say 85 to 90% of the tax revenue, not tariffs, taxes from the American citizen, are paid for by small businesses and businesses. Most residents that have just a job, they don't own a business, they just, the middle class guy, lower class, actually lower class, they always get a return. They get way more than what they ever paid into it, which is garbage. And then before I started my own businesses, I would get a refund, and I would notice that I would kind of get more back every year than what I ever paid into it. So be very cognizant of the fact that really you don't have a say in where your tax dollars go, because you're making a profit if you're a citizen of the United States. The top 10% are actually paying taxes, and businesses. Most revenue comes from businesses. I'm not trying to say as an American.
Well, they've backed off over the years where they used to, businesses used to pay a lot more in the early days. That's what it was set up at. Okay, we'll charge them, and then they've lobbied to be I don't know if they used to pay 20%, but now they pay less than 10%, but it still is a shitload of money. We get that, we get the numbers. It's just like the rich man that pays a lot per year, but his percentage might be less than yours, and people are like, he pays less than I do. It's like, no, you pay less than he does, but his percentage is less.
Right.
But yeah, that still equates to a lot more. So they keep all that. The bottom line is they're going to get what they want. They always have, and a lot of presidents in the past have come in saying we're going to shift some of that to the rich, and everyone's like, yeah, but the number is always there. They just either take away from the rich, give to you, or take away from the poor to give to them. And that game is played frequently. What needs to happen is it needs to go away for everybody. Where there's supposed to be something they're going to get, and they always will, but it's supposed to be something even. Do you know the whole cost of living thing is a joke too? That doesn't need to exist. Why does it?
Hell no. Well, it's to divide people.
Frick,
it's to divide people. It's and it works now, and it's working more now than ever because of Facebook and technology. And here's why I say that. There was a human being, a citizen of this country, that was just on Facebook the other day, and her point was, I don't know why you guys are so upset. We should get $15 an hour. All 56 states agree with that. I work at McDonald's, and I went, whoa. You just said 56 days. I'm sorry, 56 weeks. She said
56 weeks.
56 weeks a year. So she's trying to do the math. I make $7.50 an hour, which is blah, blah, blah dollars. You multiply that by the 56 weeks that are in a year, and I'm like, this is why you should only be flipping burgers. But I'm not encouraging anybody to make a career out of flipping burgers. Those are jobs for college kids, part-time jobs like me or you if we need an extra $150, $300 a week.
Yeah, you don't go get a minimum job and then bitch about it the whole time.
Bitch to me that you can't pay for your brand new iPhone, your brand new Mazda, and your 4 kids, and your 2-bedroom apartment, your satellite.
And these are the same people. They're like, well, why are you only making? Because I got no skill. And you're supposed to be like, oh, my bad. How old are you? 40, and I know nothing. It's like, then whose fault are we talking? Is it society against you? Or is it you been against society the whole time?
What do we do with that other than encourage them to go to your local technical schools? The president is backing this new reform where they're investing. They're wanting to privatize some of this congressional bullcrap where they said, well, we're going to manage, we're going to get people into schools and learn how to weld and learn how to be electricians. And they kind of foddered a little bit. And it's back in the news if you're paying attention. And now he's got some capitalists that are behind it. You got some legislators that are behind it saying, let's give this to the free market and allow these people to come in. Let somebody like me invest in these kids. Let me put them through school. Don't let the government do it. Your pay, your attendance, and your effort in the classroom, going to night school while you work for me, because I would love to hire 2 or 3 people that are willing to go to school. Can't find them because most kids that are going to school in my area right now don't want to work. But so if you're not fulfilling your obligations with me and or the school, then me and the school should be able to tell the local legislature or some committee, quit paying that. But right now these kids just go to school based on, I want to go to school, and they write a blank check, and these kids aren't learning anything. At some point you got to let the people be the judge, jury, and executioner of the people they're supposed to be helping. I don't want a congressman in D.C. tell me that John Smith deserves $1,800 a month to go to local technical school when I know for a fact, and so does the professors know for a fact, that he could give 2 craps about the class because he's not showing any effort and he's not showing up to work.
Yeah.
But yet my tax dollars still pay for him to go to school, when if he actually worked for me and I was paying for him to go to school, or being the guy in between the government saying yes or no, his ass would be out of school.
Yeah.
There's so much fraud on that in that level, and people call me crazy, but let the people decide where those taxes are being used in those schools.
Well, there you go. Well, our original idea was to have very small government. The whole reason for DC is to do our corporational business for outside, to be able to negotiate with these foreign countries and then bring it in. And it's supposed to be fair for all the states, and we kind of operate through this method.
Trade and defense.
We all do stuff together in the states, but if you want to do something overseas, it kind of goes through the DC's corporation.
Sure. Yeah.
Look how big that's got now. I mean, they used to meet twice a year. It was a burden. You know, it was like the wife would, hey, he's got a letter in. You got to be at Congress next week.
They never did it during harvest season or planting season either.
The guy's out there chopping wood like, God dang it, I got to go up there. And they spent their own gas and traveled to D.C., and they were in a hurry to get back home because they had lives, wives, families, jobs.
Right.
Nowadays, they live there. They sit there every day negotiating over stuff. It's become every day.
They need to show
over how to manage your life.
They need to prove to the American people. They have to justify why they're in Congress so much, and why are they getting paid, and why it costs so much.
They can't agree on nothing. It doesn't pay to agree.
No,
it doesn't pay to agree and get out of there. They drag it on.
Pay them $50,000 a year and have them meet twice a year again. I'm okay for paying them $50,000 a year.
Yeah.
But only pay them $50,000 a year. That's it. And they cannot be lobbyists before and or after being a politician.
It's supposed to be a burden on them to go up there.
It should be a burden. Because then you only get the ones that really care.
That's right.
But because there's a profit to be made if you're a politician. The liberals, and there are conservatives, but there are liberals that have been. Bernie Sanders is a millionaire politician.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's politicians
plays
all
like
over,
he's broke. And
oh yeah, I understand paycheck to paycheck. Bernie,
nothing.
you're 97 years old. I don't think you remember the last time you lived paycheck to paycheck. You've been a politician your whole life.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up in Brooklyn, and my family was poor, blah, blah, blah. Did you eat every day? I mean, the definition of poor, see, that's a whole new subject, because I said I was poor when I was a kid. I'm ashamed that I told people I was poor when I was a kid, because I look back now, I had a roof over my head, I had clothes on my back, I had a dad that went to work, I had a mother that took all care of all of us. We got 3 meals a day. We had everything we needed, but I was convinced by my peers and by the TV I was poor.
Yeah.
Brother, I couldn't have been more rich when I was a kid because of the things I learned and the things I felt and things I was taught. I was a very wealthy young man. I'm poor now.
See how that works, folks?
Oh, I got to get off this thing.
And that's it, you know. So, real quickly, we've all seen the thing come across social media. It shows the prices from the 30s, and you're like, well, man, and you hear people, I wish I lived back then. But really quickly, people think, with the money I make today, that price chart looks really good, and if I can go back and live then. But then we talk about, well, they're appropriate, you know, you're not going to make $700 a week back then, you'd make $70 a week back then, and then these things $7 a week or something, you know. So everything's just got shifted up. I mean, will we all eventually be millionaires off this system that we're in? Suppose, I mean, how
I can be.
Inflation and all these.
Nobody can stop me from earning anything. That's what's great about being an American, being a capitalist. I can earn as much money as I'm willing to go earn.
Well, what I'm saying is, off of the price, that's nothing changed from the 30s to have like the sugar, maybe the way they process it, they've gotten smarter with electronics and robots. And
Goods are still goods.
But yeah, the things are still there. It's just everything's doubled. Like your paychecks have tripled, and then the price of goods from back then have tripled. It's the same sugar. It's the same job, perhaps, maybe.
Check this out. Yeah.
So
this is perfect. Good for you. If they demand 15 hours an hour to flip burgers, guess how? And this is what people don't. Okay, we'll pay you your 15. But guess what's going to happen? The price for your cell phone coverage is going to go up a little bit. The price to buy your Happy Meal just went up a little bit. So like you're saying, it doesn't. You just can't magically pay stupid people better money and expect those companies not to raise their rates in order to pay for that stupid wage. Now you're saying at $15 an hour, a journeyman or an apprentice electrician or a plumber that's making 16 or 18, you deserve to be almost paid as much as somebody that is technically inclined and can go earn some monies, and I'm sorry, that are smarter than you. Just because you say you want 15 an hour, that Snickers bar just went up. The cost of shipping things just went up. So at the end of the day, the percentages of what you earn versus what you output, output, are going to be the same percentages. But you're going to feel magically better
that's
because
what I'm
you're making
saying.
15
So
an hour.
what's different right now, going back to the 30s when you made that amount a week and then shit costed that amount a week and then you had this amount left over? Today, so, now in the future, it could be like, I make $100,000 a week working at whatever job you work at.
Right.
But when you go to get gas, it's $60,000 to fill up. You go to get everything just.
It's relative. The word is called relative. The only way you can get out of poverty is not off the government's back and not off my tax dollars, which is the government's back. The only way you really succeed and get ahead in life is using this, your heart, your mind, and do it. Just do it. Nike, I used to love them because of their slogan. You know this. I was taking night classes just a couple of years ago. I finally got on a dean's list. My wife actually hung it on the refrigerator. But it's not that I just woke up and said, well, I'm going to be smart today and I'm going to earn a bunch of money. It took effort to do it. And if you're going to sit there at McDonald's and flip burgers 8 hours a day, that's your fault. But if you sit there and flip burgers 8 hours a day, get some assistance, go to night school, and in 4 years, say, well, 4 years too long. But if you do that, I'm going to be the first guy in line to pat you on the butt, shake your hand, and say, you did it, man. You didn't depend on anybody else. And here's here's what I'll leave with. Nobody cares about your future the way you do. I don't. The government doesn't. You care more about Mike than anybody else does.
You're the one with the dog in a race.
Because at the end of the day, you got to pay your bills and raise your kids. So who cares more about your family situation than you?
Yeah, you're your own dog in your own race that you're betting on and all that.
So do the work.
That's right.
Do the work.
We'll leave it on that, folks. We had Scott with us. It's great to have him in studio today. Again, this will be airing on the Patriot Hour later this evening as a premiere video or something, maybe around 6 or 7 o'clock. People are off work and they can catch this. Those of you here right now, you can catch it again. So we appreciate it. God bless, Godspeed each and every one of you. I'm out of here.
Love you.
Scott's out of here.
Love you. Do the work.
Love you guys. Love all the Patriots. Thanks for joining in. Have a great afternoon.